Hi, welcome back to the Sunday Sermon. It's great to have you watching today. And today we look at the Gospel of the disciples on the road to Emmaus. That's Luke chapter 24, verses 13 to 35. If you've not read it yet, press pause, go away, read that passage, and come back for this video. So if you're wondering, yes, I'm stood up. And normally when I preach, I stand up and I love it because I can move around and I tend to talk with my arms. I think my arms do more talking than my mouth. And I just thought I'd stand up and have a go and see what it's like. So I'm enjoying this much more. I feel a bit freer than sitting down on a chair. So let's dive in. So we have this beautiful gospel today of the disciples on the road to Emmaus. And what we see really is the mercy of Jesus. The mercy of Jesus, the faithlessness of the disciples, the mercy of Jesus, and then the joy and the zeal of the disciples as they recognize Jesus being alive. And what I love about the resurrected Jesus, and he seems to do this a lot, is he kind of plays with his disciples. So when Mary Magdalene is at the tomb weeping, Jesus doesn't run up to her, Mary, I'm alive, I'm alive. Which you kind of think you might want to do because that's a pretty awesome thing to have risen from the dead. But he kind of has a chat with her. She doesn't recognize him and he kind of doesn't push it until she recognizes that it's Jesus. And with these disciples too, they're on the road to Emmaus. They're dejected, they're downcast. Jesus has been killed and he's told them about the resurrection. They haven't really grasped that. So they're leaving Project Jesus. They're going to leave the disciples in Jerusalem. They're probably scared for their lives. They're fearful. They're leaving. And, they're kind of turning their back on everything. And if you were Jesus, you might go up to them and say, hey, get back to Jerusalem. I thought you were better than this. Doesn't do that. Or you might think Jesus may say, you lot are useless. I'm going to get another group of disciples. I'm going to go, write them off. He doesn't do that either. Yet neither does he run up to them and go, hey, it's me, it's me, it's me. Get back to Jerusalem. He walks with them. He gets alongside them. He journeys with them as they walk towards Emmaus. And on that journey, they go through a transformation. They start off being dejected and sad. And as they're walking, Jesus illuminates to them the scriptures about himself. He tells them about himself and how he had to suffer and to die and to rise again. And their hearts are burning within them as he transforms for them their mood, their understanding. And as the Spirit of God grows within them, they feel the fire of God's presence. And that's what Jesus does to us. He invites us into a deeper relationship with himself. And through that invitation, he then sets us on fire with his love. That's his call, that's his invitation to go deeper, to allow the Spirit of God to burn within us. So he's on the road and he's teaching about the law, the prophets, the prophecies about himself that you can read in the Old Testament. And they get to Emmaus and it's late at night, it's late evening, and they're hungry and tired, and they really insist, come and stay with us, come in. They like this guy now, whoever this guy is, they like him. Come and stay with us. And they sat down for supper, and Jesus breaks the bread, he has the Eucharist with them, and in that moment their eyes are opened. And it may have been the action of Jesus breaking the bread, it could have been a familiar sign, a giveaway that it's Jesus. He's alive. And whatever it was in that moment, the scales fell from their eyes and they recognized it was the Lord. And he vanishes from their very sight. Now, you might think, well, what would they do next? They do the opposite of everything they've been doing. Their hearts are so on fire with belief, they rush straight back to Jerusalem. It's taken them hours and hours to get to Emmaus. And as soon as they encounter the risen Jesus, their joy and their zeal drive them back to Jerusalem, no questions asked. And that is what Jesus does to you. Jesus fills you with this infectious joy, with this love, which means you can do nothing else but share that love with those around you. And that's what Jesus calls us to as his disciples. Not to be faithless like those disciples started out to be, but to be believing like they ended up being from the encounter with the risen Jesus. And Jesus is alive now. He's present with us, with you, with me, with us in this given moment. Jesus is with us. And that is the joy of our heart. So whether we're in lockdown, whatever we're doing, maybe you've got to go to work, and if you work in a hospital or a school, I think everyone's just on your side. If you're going to be at work, Jesus is with you. Wherever you are, in lockdown or at work, Jesus is with you, and he wants his joy to be present in your hearts. That's our gospel. It's the joy of Jesus who has risen from the dead. It's a joy that just is infectious. So that's today's gospel, the beauty of the risen Jesus and the power of him working in our lives, of his Spirit burning in our hearts. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for watching the Sunday sermon. It's great to connect with you. I'd love to hear your comments. That's one of the most fun parts of all of this for me, is hearing back from you. And if you've liked this video, please like it so your friends, your family, your loved ones can also hear the message of the love of Jesus Christ risen from the dead.